don't remember asking you a goddamn...
Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the podcast that no one asked for. My name is Guy.
And my name is Babs.
And no one asked for this. Today, we will be discussing the first 4 episodes of The Mandalorian, the first ever live-action Star Wars series that is now currently airing on Disney+. They went with a more traditional route, and they're releasing them 1 episode per week. And currently there are 4 episodes, and we will be discussing those. There's actually 5 episodes as of today, but we haven't watched the 5th episode yet. We are just going to be discussing the first 4. Babs, what's your gut reaction to the first 4 episodes of The Mandalorian?
I am fully head over heels in love with this show. I can't wait to see more. Just feel like there's a lot of adventures that are going to happen, and I love it.
I mean, I'm never going to disagree. I'm one of the suckers that's been watching a lot of the animated content over the years and reading the books, and I even owned roughly 27, 28 Star Wars books in my time. So I'm the sucker that this show is made for, and I was never going to complain even if it was terrible. Lucky for me, it's pretty good. Pretty good. So let's go into our most memorable moment.
There are probably more than one, but I'm going to go with my most memorable moment being the most memorable moment of everyone watching this show is when we meet the cutest baby on earth. He's known as the child, but we on the internet know him as Baby Yoda. Oh my God, he's so cute.
Yeah, as puppets go, that's the most adorable. Well, as Muppets go, it's the most adorable Muppet out there.
I imagine the Christmas sales of plush Baby Yodas are going to be out of this world.
To use a very outdated reference, Tico Miamo is got shit on Baby Yoda.
Oh, no.
My most memorable moment, I picked something Baby Yoda related and something not Baby Yoda related because I didn't know what you were going to choose. So I'm going to go with my not Baby Yoda. Well, it's related to, but not directly Baby Yoda. When he goes back to the other unnamed character, random stormtrooper guarded guy who he had delivered Baby Yoda to, he went back, cleaned that whole shit out, and then leaves. And as he's walking down the street, everyone has these little pagers that, like, they call them fobs, that notify you when you're in the vicinity of a bounty, if you're part of the guild.
It was very...
everyone in town's pager basically goes off as he's walking down the street. So everyone's about to chase him. And that's my most memorable moment because before that, it was a very quiet show, I would say. There was action moments, but it tended to be quieter. And in that moment, you're like, oh shit, it's about to go down. So that's my most memorable moment.
It was very John Wick. Suddenly everybody's after him.
Next up, we're going to talk about the background bums and or bosses. So do you have a bum or a boss?
I have a boss, and I think everything's a boss in this show, so I tried hard to think of something that I was like, that maybe you wouldn't say. So Mando's armor is my background boss. He starts out the show with some kind of, he doesn't have as much, he gets some cool digs after he gets his bounty for Baby Yoda. It's got like, it's a very nice look.
I like that. I think most of the promotional material shows him in his original armor. And then in episode, I think that's 2, he gets the upgraded armor. Or that's episode 3. I'm also going to give out a boss, and it's going to Apollo Creed. I always enjoy when a person seems like they're having a good time on screen. And Carl Weathers, for sure, in every moment, even when he was chasing down the Mandalorian, he seems to be having a blast. I don't know if he was giving any notes for his character, but he's making good choices either way. Let's move on to our special shout out. Babs, who's getting your special shout out?
My special shout out is going to the shrimp farmers on planet whatever the fuck it's called. Those people are hardworking, salt of the earth people who didn't deserve to be raided by whatever those orc people were that raided them.
The moment that we saw them, my first thought was, I gotta get some of that Carolina blue shrimp. That looks delicious. It's so deep and blue, and does it turn red when you cook it? Who knows? I just wanted to eat it. There's been a lot of food on screen actually in this show so far.
They're always
as
cooking.
he's like walking by whatever in whatever town and whatever planet he's on. There's always some street food going on.
Roasting over a spit. It looks like Salacious Crumb is being cooked.
Yeah, he seems like a lean protein. My special shout out, it has to go to food, and it's the mudhorn egg, because I think you can make a hell of a custard with that.
That is some protein rich, thick.
Yeah, these kind of delicacies are rare in the universe, and I would love to have me a mudhorn egg just to see, what I could whip up. So that gets my special shout out. Let's move on to the most valuable performer, which is the Mandalorian. So there's not much to discuss there. So instead, or in lieu of that, we're going to talk about the most valuable moments that added to what we know about the Mandalorian, or that informed us more about his character. Because honestly, he doesn't talk that much. So you kind of have to go either from action or just the way a scene is shot, or however, to kind of get more information about who he is. And at this point, through 4 episodes, we have a pretty good read on him. What's your most valuable moment?
My most valuable moment, I'm going to go with when he's in the first episode. He has to learn to ride this creature that looks like a giant sperm with legs or something, so that they can cross the desert and go get the bounty. And he seems very, like, not so much a badass in that moment where he's struggling, because you can see that he's a badass fighter, but then when he's doing other things that are not fighting and he kind of struggles with them, it just shows it shows that he may be a great fighter, but he's not.
I mean, he's human. I agree. I wouldn't want to taste his bone broth or see his krill recipe, but I trust him in a fight all day, every day. For me, I'm going to go with when he negotiated with the Jawas. So they robbed his ship, stripped it basically for parts and he found that when he returned from getting the bounty. And then he rode up and just started shooting them. And in the end had to he couldn't fight his way out of it. So he had to strike a deal to go get the egg that I definitely want to taste. And you kind of learn that he is not just a laser jockey. He is someone that can think his way out when he needs to. So he ends up getting the egg with some help from Baby Yoda, and then getting his ship fixed, and then going back home. And then in that, they wanted to put the mudhorn creature on his armor when he got paid for it, but he wouldn't let him, because even though he was alone, he said it wasn't like a righteous kill. It wasn't
a fair fight because he got help.
Because he got help from Baby Yoda, he wouldn't let him do that. So it's like he's not all brawn. He's got a brain and also a heart, and you learn that all in kind of the space of 10 minutes.
He didn't negotiate with the Jawas 100%. That was Nick Nolte. Did a lot of help there.
But he allowed it. I've spoken. Yeah. That is my most valuable moment. And it kind of sets up why he would rescue Baby Yoda in the first place. Now, we're not going to have a rating yet because we're only halfway through the series. And I like to have the benefit of seeing how the entire story is told, the greater arc, and these episodic type adventures before I make a judgment on that, or before we make any judgment on that. But we can, as always, discuss our level of anticipation. Obviously, Rise of Skywalker being the most anticipated thing, and Cats being the least anticipated thing. On that scale, where would you rate The Mandalorian?
Close to The Rise of Skywalker. I like every episode that I see. I kind of feel like maybe I'm going to be strung along a little bit and not going to learn the things I want to learn, but I'm okay with that. So I'm just happy to watch every episode.
Yeah, I also am. I mean, obviously, it's Star Wars, so Rise of Skywalker excited. I'm probably more excited to see the season finale of The Mandalorian than I am to see Rise of Skywalker. But that's because I'm one of those people that enjoyed The Last Jedi, and I feel like they're going to make a U-turn and make it more back to the old status quo. But I kind of liked with The Last Jedi. Just me personally, I kind of liked what they did with Last Jedi, and I wish we'd kind of stayed more on that path because it opens the world up for more original ideas instead of just rehashing the same chosen one bullshit that we always do.
Let's keep doing the same thing.
Do the same thing. 22 Jump Street. But safe to say we were both going to be highly anticipating the rest of these episodes. Onward and upward. Do you have any more thoughts you want to share?
Should we discuss how many Baby Yoda memes there are on the internet? Or we're just going to leave that?
I think that's already been tread and retread and stomped into the ground.
It's too much. It's too much, guys.
Well, thank you again, Internet, for listening to more of our bullshit. And if you were thinking that this was a waste of your time, remember, no one asked for this.